My name is Richard Jimerson. I'm ARIN's Chief Operating Officer. My apologies to the transcriptionist. It's going to be my task here to get us back on time, so I'll be talking a little bit faster than I normally do. Next slide, please. So I've got about 6 content slides to give you the normal update that we would do at a meeting across several different presentations, and we've condensed that down into a single presentation for you today. First, pandemic operations. A lot of folks are curious about that and what we've been doing. In February, once we started hearing about the pandemic, staff was given office guideline use. We started looking at CDC and WHO guidance. We started giving flexibility to staff on business travel and their cancellations. And that led us into March, where we actually began preparations to do a 100% remote from work environment at ARIN. We informed staff that office use was optional in early March, and then we closed the office for general use on March 19th, and the staff went to a 100% virtual work environment, and we've been in that state since then. All business-related travel for ARIN was canceled at that time until further notice, and that has not been reopened yet. April through today, we are fully functional in terms of registry operations. That continues without daily use of the ARIN office. However, we do have some mission critical in-person things that need to be done on a temporary periodic basis where people will make a quick visit to the office and inform us of them doing that. We have a limited reopening program that actually just started this week in line with the state of Virginia and what they are doing. And staff can actually apply if they agree to certain office use requirements to be in the office on a more regular basis. And a few of our staff members are actually doing that, are in the office today, but the majority of the ARIN staff remains in the remote work environment, and the company is operating per normal. Next slide, please. We've had some leadership updates since October of last year when we last met. Some of them because of retirements and others because of leadership changes in the organization. Just real briefly, John Sweeting and Lisa Lydell have been with the organization for some time now. However, we continue to increase the focus on the customer inside the organization. As such, John Sweeting was promoted to Chief Customer Officer to oversee the customer experience inside the organization. With that, Lisa Lydell was promoted to Director of Registration Services, where she's doing a great job of running our registration operation in terms of help desk support to all of you. Also, we had a few people in the organization that were doing governmental affairs type work, and we wanted to put that together inside of a single department. And we've done that now with the Government Affairs Department, and Anne Rochelle Ene is now ARIN's Senior Vice President of the Government Affairs Department. Susan Hamlin retired at the end of last year. We've had several retirements over the last few years in ARIN, and Hollis Kara was promoted as the Director of Communications at ARIN, and she's doing a fine job running our communications for the organization. We had 2 departures inside the organization. One was our software engineering manager and one was our operations manager. Those roles have been filled by Garth Dubin in the software engineering manager position. He's been a leader inside the organization in another department in the past, and he's doing a great job running our software efforts. And we've welcomed Reggie Forster to the organization. We're very happy to have Reggie with us, who is now our senior operations manager at ARIN, just starting here in the last month. And we last had a chief financial officer in the organization back in 2013. And it was time for us to add that role back into the organization. And we're very fortunate to have Brian Kirk with us as our chief financial officer as the beginning of this year. And we do have Val Winkleman, who is our director of finance, who's actually retiring at the end of this year. Lots of retirement words, but fortunately for ARIN, our retirees have given us 1 to 2 years notice each time. So that's great. Next slide, please. Some organizational highlights. 2020 work plan has largely remained unchanged by the pandemic work environment. There's some smaller things that aren't required. For instance, it's harder for us to do an RPKI ceremony now and a few other things, but work is running per normal inside the organization. The help desk remains available 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're still responding to all your tickets and requests and running the organization. We've added a service issue reporting feature to the ARIN website. You've always been able to reach us through the feedback button and other ways, but some folks want to know, well, in off hours, if I just wanted to let you know about an issue I think I'm seeing with your services, how can I do that? And we added this feature to the website, and people are using that. And that is continually monitored by ARIN staff that get notified when somebody uses that feature. We have the addition of a customer support chat to supplement the already existing telephone help desk. If you're logged into ARIN Online, you'll see the ability to chat with the registration services staff, and they've been doing that now for a couple of months, and it's become a very popular feature alongside our telephone help desk services. So we're glad to be able to add that service for you. And you're going to see some upcoming consultations here very shortly on possible closure of redundant or seldom used services at ARIN. I know this will interest a lot of you. Can't give you a preview of what those things are, but there is a consultation coming out here inside the next month where you'll be able to see those things and comment on them as part of our ARIN consultation and suggestion process. Next slide, please. Now, it's important to know that we do have an election this year, just like we do every year, for the ARIN Board of Trustees Advisory Council. And also we've taken nominations for the NRO-NC. All the nominations closed on the 13th of June, so that just happened. Now, the NomCom is going to be reviewing all of the candidates, and if they choose as the nominations committee, and we won't know until they make that determination, they can open a second nomination period that would be open from 20 July to 27 July. Now, if you're going to vote in the election this year, it's important that you be a member in good standing in order to vote. And you have until September 7th to have that all in order. And that's what we'll be creating the eligible voter list inside the organization. Now, the initial slate and call for petitions and statements of support, you'll see that on 14 September. Go up on the website where you can start adding your comments there. And then the final slate is identified for the elections of the candidates on 12 October, just in case anyone came in through the petition process or otherwise. The elections open for you to vote as the membership on 22 October through 30 October, and we'll be sending you plenty of reminders that you normally get, and you might even get some telephone calls like some of you have in the past from us, letting you know the elections are open. And then the results will be announced no later than 6 November for all of those open seats on our elected bodies. If you want more information, you can go to our elections page on the website, and you can find the information you need there. Next slide, please. We do a customer satisfaction survey about once every 3 years. We did one in 2014, one in 2017. This has a big impact on the services that we're offering to you as a registry. We've made changes to our services. We've added services. We've made decisions based on the feedback that you've given us during these surveys. We're doing this again. It's very important to us, and we want to make sure that your voice is heard. So you're going to see an announcement come out about a survey. It'll run from the 13th of July to the 31st of July. Please take some time to go in and take that survey. There should be a short track and a long track that you can take in there, so it can take anywhere from 5 minutes up to as many minutes as you want to spend giving expanded answers if you choose to do that. So we're looking forward to seeing you there in the survey. The final results will be published with full transparency to the ARIN website. Our Board of Trustees has asked that when the report that we actually get from our third-party contractor that conducts the survey, they've asked that the community see that report directly as they provided it to us with no modifications by staff, and that will happen again this year. And between time and the surveys, of course, we always have the feedback, but you can give us feedback on the website, and we're constantly reading those pieces of feedback. And we also do transaction surveys, and you can fill those transaction surveys out when you request resources or transfers and let us know how we're doing. We pay very close attention to those things, and we make modifications to our service throughout the year to make accommodations for that feedback. Next slide, please. ARIN 46, you're probably wondering, are we going to do an in-person meeting in October, or are we going to do a virtual meeting in October? Well, the current plan is for us to do an in-person meeting, 22, 23 October in Seattle, Washington, together with NANOG. It would be the 2 days following the close of the NANOG meeting, like you normally have in the month of October. Today, we are cautiously optimistic about holding an in-person ARIN 46 meeting as we monitor guidance from Washington State, Seattle, the CDC, and the WHO. We expect to make a decision about the meeting by early July with notification to the community shortly after. Really what's happening is the staff's going to have a recommendation completely confirmed by the end of this month, the end of June. That's going to be reviewed by the folks inside the organization and our board that need to review that. And we expect by early July that we'll have some information available to the community about that. Okay, next slide, please.